These days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. There's a serpent in these still waters, lying deep down. To that king I will bow, at least for now. One of these days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. 'Cause I am a little wicked. I am, 'cause I am. Hands up, just like it said. I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. I'll be high up in that tower, he'll be down there getting stoned. Beware the patient woman, 'cause this much I know. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. 'Cause I am a little wicked. I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. I am a little wicked. I am, 'cause I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne.
Hello, 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 everybody. How are you doing? Whew. I can hear myself speaking. That's not good. It's been a while. It's been a whole hot minute. I know that some of you are unfortunate to listen to me on a constant basis. I'm sorry about that. But for the rest of you, I've missed you. Hey, everybody. Welcome in, y'all. Oh dear, I have to admit, I'm nervous. Now that it's up to me to push the buttons and talk. Look, it's a lot. It's a lot up here. I'm not going to bore you all to tears going through one by one, but I appreciate every single one of you being here, every single one, because I really didn't think anybody would turn up, you know. I didn't. I thought it was just going to be me here ranting to myself, as per usual, really. Nobody listens to we. We all know this. But yeah, today's been quite a day already. And I was actually almost going to postpone this again. And then I was like, I'm going to keep doing that forever and never go back to doing anything. So you're all very unlucky. I'm sorry about it. But you can't get away with everything, you know. It just is what it is. Oh, look at you all. Oh, you made me real happy. Real happy. So, today, without further ado, we're going to be talking about reparations and respirations. Because apparently some people appear to be missing the point on a whole lot of things. And you sort of have to start small and introduce them to a little bit, and then try again. People won't take in everything. Sometimes it can take weeks, months, years even. But hence the theme tune of Beware the Patient Woman, because I'll wait my turn. So here we are. We're going to cover this. Right. So grab a coffee, your watered down soda, whatever snacks you've got, comfy pillow, you name it. I'm going to try and keep this as quick as I can, but there's a couple of things to sort of break down in the middle of it, so I'll try my best. Eliza, I swear, if I could have thought of a third R that was going to squeeze its way in there, I was like, I should really ask Pearl. I'm like, just Pearl, can you do my homework for me, please? Hey, Pearl, look at this. We're just talking about ya. So let's see where to start. We're gonna go not quite on Granny's bus, but we're gonna do a little bit of time traveling ourselves and go back to the wonderful world of 2020 and see what was happening way back then, like a whole 4 years ago. Well, 3.5 really for the time period I'm talking about, but some people like to give that little bit of extra. They're probably the same people that celebrate their birthdays for about 400 years. Weirdos. But back in 2020, there was a whole lot of things going on. We had a global pandemic. Countries' borders were being shut down left and right. There were lockdowns, mask mandates, protests, counter-protests, vaccinations, all sorts of stuff. And oh, Pearl, where were you? I will change that at the end now. Oh, somebody remind me at the end, please. I'll be really grateful. But there were two key things that also happened in 2020. And those were the George Floyd protests and Breonna Taylor protests. Now, although both of those people were effectively murdered, I can say the words because I'm just a tiny ickle baby channel. Although those two people were murdered, there was a very palpable sensation of unrest, very poor race relations. These are things that people don't want to talk about all the time because it gets awkward or difficult, or people start to add politics into the things. I'm more equal opportunities. I don't care what color your skin is. You're you. If you're nice and fun to be around, great. If you're an asshole, you won't be around me. It's that simple. It's nothing to do with anything else. Some people do it the other way around. So, while these protests went on for months, and it wasn't just in America, protests were happening everywhere. Even in my tiny little country, there were protests happening here as well. And we are a predominantly white country. Our diversity level is very low. And unfortunately, that leads to a lot of tension at times as well. So in the middle of people protesting about whether or not we had germs flying about, whether or not we needed to protect ourselves, whether or not we needed vaccinated, whether or not we cared about anybody dying from anything, life still goes on, hopefully. Most of us have lost in our lives, and whenever it gets to the point that you have something that is so far out of your control as the actions of other people or a global pandemic, there's a lot going on. There's only so much that can happen. So the whole world felt strange at that time, very strange. Another added little bit into that would be for those people who suffer from any ill health on a regular basis, it added another layer of fear for their lives. Usually, if you have any chronic issues ongoing, the last thing you need is an infection of anything. Never mind something that we didn't know how to fix at the time. So, desperate times, desperate measures, and the mask mandates came in. We can't trust people to wash their hands, so they had to be told to wear masks. Now, we can argue the science of that at a whole other time. I'm happy to do it. Because we all know things that were maybe said at that time were not quite accurate, but all we can do is try to look after ourselves and our loved ones as best as we can and hope that we provide others with the same concern. You would hope. You would hope. And that's right. 6 up people in addiction were cut off from treatment, and the same with people going for therapy. Those people who really value the face-to-face contact from people. One of the places I assist with, face-to-face is a very valuable thing for certain people. It's maybe the only human contact they're getting. And we couldn't do that. And it was extremely hard for some people. And again, that has very serious knock-on effects. Everything has a knock-on effect. So, to move us further in our little story, a creator currently within our sphere of YouTube was part of some anti-mask protests. Now, again, my point here is not the anti-mask issue per se. I'm very aware that there's a cultural difference between the perception of rights for Americans and the UK. It can be very different. Europeans in the UK, America and Europe, they can all be very different. But we are blessed. We are blessed. If you have running water and the ability to be able to have good drainage facilities and plumbing, you're already 100 steps ahead of the game. A lot of people don't have that, and that caused them a whole lot of problems. Now, again, going back to where I started, there had been months of protests all across America connected to the death of George Floyd. And as we now know, the people who had caused his death are now in prison. And the death of Breonna Taylor. in relative close succession, and again, just adding to a level of tension that was already on the increase. Now we had the amazing pandemic mixed into it as well. Now, for some people, they still tried to abide by the regulations and do the things that they had to do. There were other people who weren't able to leave their homes at all. Were basically locked down even when lockdown was lifted because it was still unsafe for them to do so. There are many people who still live like that because of the risk of any more serious infections. And it changes life for people. It does. But at that time, a group of people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, had decided to protest. Now, to cut a very long story short, how we got to connecting this to YouTube is twofold. The creator that I had mentioned, Crime Sleuthin, I will give you a name check. And no doubt she will try to threaten legal action or some sort of strike again today, but yeah, that's going to be unfortunate. You might want to consider that. There's a whole lot of false striking going on. A whole lot of people strike happy, doing the most. But some of us didn't turn up yesterday, you know. When it comes to how people are perceived on YouTube, there are some people who want to give you this whole speech about, well, it's just a character that they portray on YouTube. It's just who they show themselves as. And yes, I'm sure there's a certain element of that. But a good portion of people try to be true to who they are. Whether it means that other people like it or not, that's a whole different discussion. You can only present what you want to show other people. If you want to be vulnerable, if you want to be honest, if you want to be funny, if you want to be rude, it's up to you what you show people. So Crime Sleuthin has shown us on YouTube that maybe she just doesn't have the calmest of persuasions. She seems to react with temper quite often. And considering I'm Irish, and I find that startling, that should tell you a lot. I mean, my people are crazy. They really are. We have a whole reputation. My people have been fighting with each other for hundreds of years. That's what we do. It's like a full-time gig. But you have to choose your battles. I heard somebody give an opinion today on why I would be allowed to speak or why was I allowed to mention anything. Here's the thing. I have just as much right to get up here and speak as anybody else. Anybody can start a channel. If I can do it, literally anyone can do it. Go ahead. But if that person and those people have their rights to their opinions, I also have the right to mine. Correct? Right six up, even if it puts her in distress, because I would suggest, as we will see here, a lot of that distress seems to come from a lack of self-control. I tried to say it as nicely as I could when I was over at Earth's. I don't know if Earth has been threatened with a cease and desist or whatever yet as well. No doubt that'll be incoming. But she thinks she's Santa. She thinks she is the YouTube Santa out here, everyone. She's making a list. Not quite like Ernie. She's not, measure twice, cut once. She's just making the list and then adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. I don't know when we're ever going to get receipts, proof, evidence of anything. But I would suggest the real reason for this despair, this anxiety, is her lack of control. It's amazing to me how somebody can get to at least the halfway stage in their life and not understand that other people have free will. You don't have control over those people. And again, for somebody who is so forthright about their civil liberties, their right to free speech, their right to be heard. It's amazing that you would try to shut down other people. A whole lot of us on YouTube have had a whole lot of things said about us. You cannot fix it all. You cannot make people take it back. You can't get them to change it. You can try to work forward. You don't have to be besties, but you can try. And then some people just choose to dig their heels in and make life hard on everyone. So, way back when crime sleuthing came to YouTube, as has been said many, many times, her original YouTube name was a different username. Fueled by coffee and true crime. And she went on many, many panels. Everywhere. You name it, she was there. She was all doing things. And after a hot minute, she became entangled, shall we say, with a little group called Heels on the Ground. I had to double check myself there to make sure I didn't say the wrong one. Heels on the Ground. One particular member of that group, Chronicles of Olivia, was working, burning the midnight oil, doing all the things with the now named crime sleuthing. They were having a great time. They were doing work, they were sharing each other's numbers, they were sharing recipes, just having a great fun, calling each other at night, sending memes, doing the most. Even friends on Facebook. And there, dear listener, lies the problem. I don't know how many of you have listened to me say 5,000 times, usually per day, you are in charge of your information. Lock down your personal accounts. Keep them private, especially if you have dependents, if you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you have a partner, if you have a job, if you have friends that you want to continue to like you. Lock down your accounts. Do that for your own safety. Because there are many people out here who will do the most. Now, no doubt, crime sleuthing will be out here telling everybody I was doing the most. Nay, nay, everyone. Nay, nay. I'm not going to whip my hair back and forth, I promise. But whenever it comes to personal safety, you are in control of that information. Again, it's especially strange that usually those people who are very happy to put out the personal information of another person are exactly those that run around striking people when something from their past has been released. And it is important how we behave in the past and the present will reflect on our future. That's how we judge people. That's how we get a guesstimate for what their base level is like. And this base level, I wish I had saw this 4 years ago, because it would have answered so many questions for me before she even started speaking. Now, again, I hate myself for saying this, but everybody can make mistakes, although an on purpose is not a mistake. But even if this was judged as a poor decision-making process, the best thing to do would be to apologise and move forward. You can't force people into silence. You can't force people to be quiet. The only control you have is over yourself, not over other people. Now, there's a very good example of self-control, and that will be shown in a person called Reverend Dr. Robert Turner. Whenever all of the protests were going on in 2020, Reverend Dr. Robert Turner, at the time of Oklahoma, was going to the Tulsa City Hall once a week. And one of the weeks that he attended, he had the misfortune to meet some other protesters. Reverend Dr. Robert Turner, he deserves his full title as he is a well-qualified man, has a channel on YouTube. He has a church. He is on the board of many civil rights and reparations committees. A widely respected individual. And to this day, so he'd been doing the reparations demand for encouragement of awareness, governmental movement, and hopefully some resolution to the wrongs done in the past. He's been doing this for years now. Years. The man has written a book. That book will be out at the end of this month. If you go to his channel and sub up to the channel, you will find him. And I'm sure you'll see the book on there. I know that I had a little look yesterday. And the book, guess what it's on, everybody? Guess what the topic of the book is? Reparations. So this man's very passionate about this subject. He hasn't just turned up overnight, hasn't just turned up to make people unhappy. He's doing the duty that is owed to his generation and those of his forebears who deserved better. It's that simple. You can also find Reverend Dr. Turner on Facebook, on all of the platforms. He is very available, very willing to converse, very friendly, and a fount of knowledge. But on his YouTube channel, he has a video of him attending the same geographical area in Tulsa as some anti-mask protesters. Now, Reverend Dr. Robert Turner was going to this place every Wednesday to protest, had been doing so with no issue, no problems, until this day. And as you're about to see, the manner in which he was treated was wild. Shameful, to be honest. But again, that's my judgment. But let's see what you guys think. So, I've put the little link in the chat to this video. And again, Crime Sleuth and I am sharing this man's footage. You cannot strike me for sharing the footage of another person that was filmed by another person. He holds the right to that footage. You cannot strike me for its usage. Or anyone else for that matter. Everybody could, possibly should, be sharing this. Okay, let me see. So, anti-mask protesters assault civil rights activist Reverend Dr. Robert Turner at Tulsa City Hall. It was premiered on the 16th of July 2020. Underneath his video, the introduction, it says, "It is a sad day in Tulsa, but I will not be deterred by this fight. In this fight, by God as my helper, I will endure this fiery furnace, and we as a people will make it to the promised land. Our people will know justice. The racism that destroyed Black Wall Street in 1921 is alive and well in 2020. I have never, in person, seen mobs so filled with hate as I did today. I hope our city leaders will stand up and repudiate the racist attacks we endured today on the steps of City Hall. Starting at the 1 minute 55 mark, you will see water thrown on me by the same individual seen screaming in my ear." So that answers a question for people who are asking who threw the water. You'll see in a wee minute what I'm talking about. You always will see, I think he meant also, but you always will see the two women grabbing my arm and one of them grabbing my bullhorn. To support this ministry, please visit, and then he gives a GoFundMe link. Now, Crime Sleuthing has a huge problem with the word assault being used in connection with this video. We're about to see why Reverend Dr. Robert Turner, again, not some little oik you just met on the street, Crime Sleuthing, why he feels that way. So this was filmed by a person that was walking along behind the Reverend, and he had another assistant with him too. Anybody who has done a lot of protesting, I have, Pearl has, I'm sure there are many of you who have, know that you have to be extremely careful about how you conduct yourself. how you move, what you touch, whether you make any physical contact with anyone, because you know there will be repercussions. So let's see this little intro. Whenever the video starts, Reverend Dr. Turner is just walking up towards Tulsa City Hall. Did you see that, everybody? I saw a bullhorn. Oh my goodness. It must be a heavy-duty bullhorn because apparently it struck fear into the hearts of some people. Again, that's why I gave that whole long speech at the start of this video. The irony, absolute irony of crime sleuthing, then coming to YouTube and hooking up with another creator who literally has bullhorn in her name is too much. Too much. Please make it make sense. I would love for you to do that because it doesn't. Now, crime sleuthing has also stated at this protest there were hundreds of people. Hundreds of them. As you will say, it's not quite that filled as she would tell you. There's still a reasonable crowd there. As it is an anti-mask protest, there is just the practical measure of most of the people are not wearing masks. That's just the long and the short of it. That's their choice, although it is also their choice then to go into the street and do this.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
Now, I will let it play on, but the intro is important. You will see the three people that have just walked up to this group did so quietly, without aggression. There was no shouting, no noise, no jeering of any kind, no name calling. The gentleman that is speaking through the bullhorn is Reverend Dr. Robert Turner. You will hear him speaking. Now, can I get a 1 in the chat if you think he is quiet, a 5 in the chat if you think it is mid-range, and a 9 in the chat if you think it is loud. Almost screaming. So 1 for quiet, 5 for mid-range, 9 for almost screaming. I would love to hear your thoughts because I find it very interesting. Lots of 1s. Iris says 1, Pooh says 1, Star says 1, Jessie says 1, Six Up says 1, Soup says 1, Tiny Dancer says 1, Linny says 1, Popcorn says 1, Angel says 1, Grandma says 1, Six Up says maybe 2. Now look, 2 wasn't an option. 2 was never an option. Right, Michelle? Michelle says 1. Relevant Glitz and Glam Chicks says 1. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I've also been to some wild protests. I've been to a whole lot of huge events. This man, if anything, he's very monotone and moderated at the start of this. So Let's see if it changes. Let's see if he starts screaming. So keep that in mind, that 1 is going to be quiet, 5 in the middle, 9 very loud. Dictum, behave.
I will rejoice.
And you can see his little sign says reparations now, and he's wearing a mask, and he's carrying a bullhorn. Those 3 things are notable. It's not F you crazy people, it's not get out, it's not your anything. It's literally, it is what you see here. This is the presentation. This man with his 1 sign and a bullhorn.
And be glad in it. I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness. I am the grateful pastor of a third Vernon Church. And we are USA!
Now, I'm going to skip back a couple of seconds there because there's an important little bit. You can hear a certain someone suggest that this person is super rude. Now, as I was not there, as I am not an audio expert, as I do not have corroborating footage to prove it, I cannot tell exactly who it would be, but the voice sounds oddly familiar, and they are accusing this man of being super rude. The reason that I believe that they're saying that is because this group had applied for a permit from Tulsa City to be allowed to protest. Now, in the true crime sector, you could say that a good portion of us are nerds of some level. We will all go and look at the details. That's kind of what we do. Considering I've never been to Oklahoma, I have spent an inordinate amount of time reading the city regulations of Tulsa on protesting and permits. And it was interesting to me how things were worded. A permit is nothing other than the permission for a large group of people. But a permit does not have to be applied for, especially if your protest is going to be on the sidewalk. Again, I will post the link to all the regulations because I didn't want to bore you all into a coma. But please go and read them if you're confused, because it's quite clear in there. And again, any of us who've been to a protest know that usually if there's a protest, there is a counter protest. On this occasion, I don't see such a thing. Reverend Dr. Robert Turner is having his own protest about an entirely different subject. Not a counter protest. It is not about the masks. He is there because of reparations. That's right, 6 up. In the First Amendment, we have the right to address our government and, what does that say? And a public place at any time, or in a public place at any time. Yep. Certainly when you look at the regulations, what this man has done is not wrong. There is no fencing off of the area that they're standing in. They're not sectioned off in any way that would prohibit entry for anyone. You or I could have walked through that sidewalk at any time. You could walk through, you could sit down, you could do whatever you want. You have the right. As long as you're not, well, I don't know, laying hands on somebody without permission, you probably could sit there all day. But it was interesting to me, that little voice that pipes up straight away about it being so rude. wonder if any of you have heard, I don't know, crime sleuthing, for example, suggest recently that people are rude. Just curious. Let's hear that again.
Of a third Vernon Church. USA! And we are, I am the grateful pastor of a third Vernon Church. USA! And we are here as we
Now, again, protests, there's usually a lot of verbal, unless you're having a silent protest. Those are the rarity in this day and age, but the timing, coordination, and effort of these people would suggest that maybe it was planned or something, but I was curious also as why that would be your battle cry. Was there something about Reverend Dr. Turner that suggested that this man would not find that acceptable? Or was it just that you felt like you wanted to encourage everybody? Remind people where you were? Were you lost? So many questions. Forgot to unmute myself. Do you like my little play button action there? It's perfect. This woman that is on the screen definitely passes more than a striking resemblance to the creator known as crime sleuthing, formerly fueled by coffee and true crime. We know this because for a good while her camera was on constantly. Again, for somebody who will, I will show it another time, claim that they were in witness protection and at risk, this is an unusual maneuver to go out on a public protest. But what she has just done is walk from one side of the Reverend Turner right round to the other side. She has already had to maneuver around this man. And again, when you go back and listen to it, listen to that voice that says so rude. Because it sounds very familiar. But let's see what happens next, shall we?
That occurred right here in this city, where an angry, racist mob of white people.
Now, the words he literally just said there are, in the USA, where an angry, racist mob of white people. He does say that. Now, I don't know about you, everyone, but considering the way that these people have all turned like little sheep to face this man directly, start waving their arms and raising their voices at him, I would say that would classify as a mob. Considering his skin tone is so much different to most of the crowd, I can see where he's maybe getting the racist from. I can, and I'm as white as a milk bottle. But I don't understand why that would be so hard for a protest organizer to understand. If you were good at organizing protests, you would have instructed your fellow protesters to not react to other protesters, especially counter-protesters or anyone turning up, in your opinion, to agitate or distract. This group of people, this group of mainly white people, chooses a very different plan of action. So, the reason that they're all laughing there is someone just threw water at that man. I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem to be a well-organized protest. It's kind of crazy that anybody would do that at any time, but especially at a time where there is both the risk of infection, from maybe somebody who's had their mouth round a water bottle. God knows where that mouth had been. We'll soon hear where it goes later. And these people are anti-mask. Don't know about you, but I don't see anybody wearing gloves or, having some alcohol gel to clean their hands. None of the things. But yeah, well done, crime sleuthing. Well done. That's sarcasm, by the way, in case you think I'm supporting this craziness.
Hey, sweetie, let us have our voice. We'll let you have.
Hey, sweetie, let us have our voice. I'm sorry, did this man take away your voice? No. Your voice was there before, it's there now, and it will be there afterwards. He is using his voice. So why do you people that are now suddenly surrounding this man not give him the same grace? It's almost like she has continued this same behavior when she came to YouTube. She expects to be treated a certain way, but does not give that same courtesy to others. The entitlement and the liberties that she is about to take, if she had done this to a woman, or somebody who was unprepared, they may have had a very different response. I am very glad that Reverend Dr. Turner knows exactly how to control himself.
On American soil.
Sir, talk to me for a minute. Talk to me for a minute. And as you can see, her hand goes from resting on his arm to wrapping round his arm. So here's the hand. This is the hand of the second lady. Now she has put her hand further up his arm. Her hand is wrapped round his forearm. You see that? You see that little lady with the little play button on her face? She has her hand wrapped round that man's forearm. We can see a second person has also put hands on him. We cannot see a wider image. Could there be more? I don't know. But Crime Sleuthing, which is the lady in question here, if you go to her channel, you'll be able to confirm that. You can compare the video to the image she has on her screen. Reverend Turner described this as an assault. Now that's important because yesterday 6 Up Media had tried to cover just a tiny little bit of Crime Sleuthing's actions on the YouTubes. And she covered some of her recent streams. Crime Sleuthing is very angry about this being termed as assault. I don't know what you guys would call it. What would you call it if somebody put their hands on you without permission? What would you think is going to happen? Do you think she's measuring him up for a new watch? A bracelet, perhaps?
An angry, racist mob.
And he says it again, a racist mob.
Of white people descended upon Greenwood and dropped a bomb on Greenwood and killed black people, black lives, and not one of those.
Do you see that little head shake? Do you see that little head shake? Ooh, ooh, top level Karening there. Ooh. It's impeccable. It's almost like she's practiced it.
And not one of those racist, angry thugs will ever charged with the crime.
She then says to him, "No, you're racist." So Crime Sleuthing is upset because she believes that recently Voice for the Voiceless, known as Voices, called her racist. When you can clearly see what has happened in this video, Reverend Dr. Turner says that they are racist. Crime Sleuthing here, in her fetching little rap, calls him racist. Oh, and puts her hands on him multiple times.
You are racist. Just like the
You are racist. You are racist.
And God.
She must be very thirsty because the water disappears out of that bottle. And you don't don't see her take a drink very often. Or maybe she just doesn't have the best of gag reflexes and she can take a big mouthful. I don't know.
Still sits high.
Reparations.
And God looks low.
Are you a believer in Jesus?
And God is not pleased with the sins of this city.
Everybody is thirsty all of a sudden. Everybody needs bottles of water. Water must be passed out immediately to the people who just happen to be surrounding this gentleman. Must be very warm in that area. Yep. There's a whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. And again, when you look around at this crowd, I don't know about you, but I don't see too many people of colour in this group. There are a couple.
And it has
Dabbing her face. Did it get wet? Crime sleuthing. Did your face get wet? Maybe she's sweating. I don't know. Maybe it was splashback from when maybe the bottle slipped at some point. I don't know.
been a travesty that you can care more about a face mask than you can about justice.
He says there, you care more about a face mask than you care about justice.
You care more about the people who choose to cover their own face than you do about justice. And even today, as I have come every week since September the 12th, 2018.
He says again that he has come there every week since September the 12th, 2018. Read Kathy's comment. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen. Oh, right, Kathy. Oh, yes, because he's talking about dropping bombs. You're right. Okay, yes, you're correct. So then she turns around and says, you're racist. I'm going to play it all at the end again in one big go at the end. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. If I didn't welcome you in at the start, I appreciate you being here. And Kathy, thank you for correcting me, because unlike some, I can take correction. And I appreciate it.
And this city has yet to pay reparations. These citizens, you care more about a face mask than you do justice for people whose bodies are still in mass graves.
Liberty! Liberty!
Black people have never.
You care more about face masks than you do about justice for people whose fathers are buried in mass graves. Do you think this crowd heard him say any of that? Any of it? Sure don't look worried, although this lady took the time to coordinate her little t-shirt and camo pants, which is nice.
Never see justice in this country. You can yell, you can push, you can pour water, but I promise you one day, you will reap what you sow.
Little Miss Camo Pants there, it was shouting freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom for who? Is it only the group that she's with? Are they allowed the freedom and no one else? I'm seriously confused by that. Anyone else allowed the freedom? Do we have to ask for the freedom, just like crime sleuthing expected this man to talk to her to be given permission to speak? You'll hear that at the very start of when he starts talking. The entitlement of telling this man that you have freedom and somehow taking away his right. It's insane.
Preach choice when it works for you, bro. Preach choice when it works for you.
And you ought to repent.
Our choice.
As John the Baptist preached, as Jesus preached, repent. For the kingdom of God is at hand. And before miracles,
One of the signs there says, "My rights don't end where your fear begins." That's this sign that's just on the left here. Again, it's like people didn't read their own homework. It's almost like they're scared of this man. I don't know why. He's not being physically aggressive. Is he talking through a bullhorn? Sure. Is he screaming in anyone's face? Is he getting up close and personal? If anything, he seems to be trying to extricate himself away from people.
Jesus. After America, there will still be Jesus.
More freedom.
And your face
More freedom. Always more freedom.
mask cannot protect you. The lack of your face mask will not protect you. Your guns will not protect you from the wrath.
So, again, things have taken a slight turn. This lady is now saying that is the mark of the beast. I know that any church I have ever attended, if you said that to even a parishioner, never mind pastor, priest, or reverend in charge, they would maybe have an opinion about that. But it's interesting that this is what this lady thinks, that a face mask is the mark of the beast.
As Jonathan Edwards says, the wrath of an angry God. So if there be any love of God in you, if there be
No face masks in heaven. Well, have you been? Did you visit? Were there postcards, souvenirs? I don't know. So many questions.
any humanity in you, then I plead with you, with the love of Christ, to do right by God's people. And they said the same thing to Christ, to do right by God's people. And they said the same thing to Jesus. They said the same thing to Jonathan Edwards.
So they're now basically shouting at this man that what he's saying is a bold-faced lie. I'm sure they have a wealth of knowledge to base that learned opinion upon, but it's just really interesting that they seem to know so much, yet didn't know that this man comes here every Wednesday. Huh, maybe they did. Maybe it was just an unhappy little coincidence that they happened to be there at the time where this man turns up to do his protest.
Every prophet that has been brought to this world, you spoke up against.
Why are you
Every
disrespecting
leader that has come to this nation, you have killed and assaulted.
Now, I don't know who this wee gentleman is with the glasses. I say wee because he's proportionately smaller than the other people in shot. It's an observation. He seems to have become extremely angry. He's now just shouting into this man's face. So much so that his friends had to basically give him a timeout. A bit like an overexcited toddler or something. I mean, sit down, sir. Sit down. You've done too much already.
His truth will reign today. And I plead with the blood of Christ over your soul.
That just helps him.
Teach you.
Don't get up in his face. That's all right.
Idolatry of white supremacy. In Jesus' name.
Now, this gentleman in the blue shirt has produced a credit card or a debit card. Not sure what he thinks he's going to be doing here, apart from being offensive to the man who is asking for reparations, not from these individual people, but from the city, the state, and the government as a whole. That's who he's asking for reparations from. I mean, I'm not quite sure why this blue-shirted man is confused. Maybe he's drank too much water. Maybe not enough. Get this man a bottle of water.
I want to give you my credit card for reparations. Will you take credit cards? Take credit card for reparations.
You ain't gonna step in front of him.
Murdered children.
You ain't gonna
Do
step in
you
front of
pray
him.
for
You
America's
take a
murdered
credit card. How
children
about
through
$10?
abortion?
Will that shut you up?
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's turned into 20 questions. You heard me say at the start, Reverend Dr. Robert Turner. I will keep saying his name so that people can go and look him up. That's why I'm saying it. I am not repeating or sharing Crime Sleuthen's name. These people are now just throwing everything they possibly can. Right, Eliza? He needs to trade in his card for a library card. I agree. They're all doing way too much. Now they've moved on to abortion. They're out here talking about mask mandates. What has that got to do with abortion? Anyone? I mean, by nature of the thing, a mask is going to protect your face, and I don't know if you know this, Crime Sleuthen and your friends, but that's not how you get pregnant. That's not how babies are made. Nope. Nope. Wrong end.
I would like to know that. You're getting paid. How much money?
The word of God has been spoken.
How much money?
The word of God has been
Shout out to the gentleman who was with Reverend Turner because he is wearing an X-Files shirt saying that the truth is still out there. Again, compared to the crowd that he is having to deal with, I think it's kind of perfect, to be honest. It's kind of perfect. This, This lady has a sign that says, "My body, my choice." Well, if you have your body and your choice, why can't he take his body and have his choice with it as well? Again, it's just too much. Too much.
As is written in Isaiah 61, ask your pastors about Isaiah 61. Where it says, "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me. For the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings to the meek."
And you can hear that despite the section in the middle where Reverend Turner's voice gets louder, he's still not screaming. Again, we have that 1 to 9 scale, 1 being the quietest, 9 being the loudest. It's important because we're going to read something in a wee second that makes that all make sense. Why I keep saying it. But I don't know. Maybe Crime Sleuthie needs to go and get her hearing checked. Possibly. Right, Pooh. She should have said, "Your body, my choice." That's sadly very accurate.
He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, and provide for those who grieve in Zion.
How much are you getting paid? You're in it for the money.
How much are you getting paid? You're in it for the money. Well, this lady isn't in it for the clothes. I know that much.
Until the morning, and a sound of praise until the spirit of heaven.
This is a good time for another educational moment. This gentleman that's in the crowd here, just almost in the middle. Shout out to the bowl haircut, Lego haircut. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But your hairstyle is not an intrinsic value. Texture, color is intrinsic, but not your style. So for somebody such as Crime Sleuthing to run around YouTube and complain that people are calling her bangs because she has bangs and claim that that's against YouTube terms of service. I don't know what you worked in the medical field. I just hope it wasn't directly with patients.
They'll be called the oath of righteousness. If you love God whom you have not seen.
We got another little peep there, Crime Sleuthing, and she got her little handy dandy microphone. Beautiful. She came prepared.
God whom you have not seen. How can you hate your brother you see every day? And what you have shown tonight is not the love of God, but it's the love of your Father, who is Satan. You have shown the love of your true Father, who is Satan. And you need to repent from your sins today.
And what does the Lord say about greed?
So he ends that with, "And you need to repent from your sins today." I would say that's pretty standard for most of the clergy, whether trained, untrained, professionally qualified. I know that somebody else had a problem with that recently, but this man, again, is a reverend doctor. Very highly respected, many accolades, part of many professional committees and bodies. author, charity worker, community worker, reparations activist.
Hey, you get money for this!
Okay, so you want me to play it through one more time without pausing it? Which I think would be good because then other people can take it from here if they need to. We'll just play it right through. And then we'll see Crime Sleuthing's recent response to all of these things.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness. I am the grateful pastor of a third Vernon Church. And we are here as we that occurred right here in this city, where an angry, racist mob of white people descended upon Greenwood
Sweetie, let us have our voice.
and
We'll let you
dropped bombs on American soil. An angry, racist mob of white people descended upon Greenwood and dropped a bomb on Greenwood and killed black people, black lives. And not one of those racist, angry thugs were ever charged with the crime.
You are racist.
Just
Not one.
like the KKK.
And God still sits high.
Reparations.
And God looks low.
Are you a believer in Jesus?
And God is not pleased with the sins of this city. And it has been a travesty that you can care more about a face mask than you can about justice. You care more about the people who choose to cover their own face than you do about justice. And even today, as I have come every week since September the 12th, 2018, and this city has yet to pay reparations. These citizens, you care more about a face mask than you do justice for people whose bodies are still in mass graves.
Liberty! Liberty!
Black people have never received justice in this country. You can yell, you can push, you can pour water, but I promise you one day, you will reap what you sow.
Preach choice when it works for you, bro. Preach choice when it works for you.
And you ought to repent.
Our choice.
As John the Baptist preached, as Jesus preached, repent. For the kingdom of God is at hand. And before America, there was Jesus. After America, there will still be Jesus. And your face mask cannot protect you. The lack of your face mask will not protect you. Your guns will not protect you from the wrath. As Jonathan Edwards says, the wrath of an angry God. So if there be any love of God in you, if there be any humanity in you, then I plead with you, with the love of Christ, to do right by God's people. And they said the same thing to Jesus. They said the same thing to John the Baptist. Every prophet that has been brought to this world, you spoke up against.
Why are you
Every leader that has come to this nation, you have failed and assaulted. That his truth will reign today. And I plead with the blood of Christ over your soul. I pray that I teach you.
Don't get up in his face. That's all right.
Idolatry of white supremacy. In Jesus' name.
Hey, I want to give you my credit card for reparations. Will you take credit cards? Take credit card for reparations.
You ain't gonna step in front of him.
Murdered children.
You ain't gonna
Do
step in
you
front of
pray
him.
for
You
America's
take a
murdered
credit card?
children
How about
through
$10?
abortion?
Will that shut you up?
Yeah, I would like to know that. You're getting paid. How much
The word of God has been spoken.
How much money is going to justify
The word of God has
abortion?
been spoken.
Yes, in the name of Jesus,
And it's
we
written in
pray for
Isaiah
America's
61.
unborn.
Ask
Yes,
your
and
pastors
we
about
stand up
Isaiah
for the
61.
life.
When
If
it
we
says, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me. For the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, and provide for those who grieve in Zion.
How much are you getting paid? You're out of fucking money.
And till the morning. And a sound of praise until the spirit of heaviness. They will be called the oaks of righteousness. If you love God whom you have not seen, how can you hate your brother you see every day? And what you have shown tonight is not the love of God, but it is the love of your Father, who is Satan. You have shown the love of your true Father, who is Satan. And you need to repent from your sins today.
And what does the Lord say about greed?
Hey, you get money for this.
Oh, now, one other little bit that I didn't mention. There's so many things, and as Six Up just said, you could watch this on a loop. I've watched that video over and over and over again. And because there are so many people talking, there's so much movement, there's a lot going on that you could spend hours on breaking this down. You really could. And I was trying not to bore you all to tears. But notably, the woman that comes in near the end to move people away from the Reverend towards the end, she shouts, "Hey, everybody follow me." It's not crime sleuthing. the event organizer, apparently, the protest organizer. It's not her. Maybe she wanted that to keep going. I don't know about you all, but after watching it, when you watch it all in one solid go, it makes me really angry. I think other people are also feeling angry. So I was trying to give myself a wee second to calm down before it would go on. I'm trying not to say all the things. Whew. And yes, Nico, she claims to be the protest organizer. That is what she claims. Now, she's also said many things about that protest, including that she runs very good protests and etc., etc. And that does not seem to be the case from this one example. Maybe she has other examples she would like to share. And then we could compare and contrast. I'm happy to do that. But on this one event, this does not seem controlled. That's just my opinion. Right, Achilles heel. Right, I'm just trying to grab something real quick. Okie dokie. Now, whenever this video was first being passed around and awareness was being made, Crime Sleuthing made a handy-dandy community post. Not on her own channel, but on her second. I will in a wee second, Pooh, if I do this. Let me see. I'll play this and then play yours because it'll fit in perfectly, I believe. Let me see. Okay, so Crime Sleuthing made a handy dandy little community post just when this is out. Yep, that's why I'm sort of doing this in between because it works. Trust me, trust me. I'm with you. I'm with you. But this was her explanation of what happened on this protest and why she has opinions about it. The reason I asked you earlier about the volume that you thought was being used is because it becomes important. So, Crime Sleuthing After Dark said, the people who've been spreading lies about me for weeks are now, while they know I'm on a break, doxing me and spreading a video around claiming I assaulted a black man at a protest, with a huge shock expression as if they've found this huge bad racist thing about me. But it's patently and provably false. I'm only addressing this once and only because it's a serious allegation and defamation. Anything further will be handled legally, and all is being documented. This is the crap slime ball snakes do. Take nothing and try to twist it into something it's not to hurt and cancel YouTubers they see as competition, and their sheep take the bait, hook, line and sinker. Nobody was assaulted, and colour had nothing to do with it. Here's what happened. I organised a large protest with a permit years ago. It was going fine. Then a man invaded our permitted space with a huge, loud bullhorn. He began screaming into it, and we could no longer hear anything. I was the protest organizer, so I went up to him to find out, and we will carry on a second. I went up to find out what was going on. I touched his arm once gently, trying to get his attention, and asked him nicely if he'd please speak with me. He was screaming into the bullhorn and ignored me, so I walked away. We called law enforcement over and they made him leave because that's the law here. You can't invade a permitted protest. He didn't want to go on his own and had to be walked by law enforcement down the street while he was bellowing on his bullhorn, SMH. That's it. He tried claiming later that he was assaulted and that we were all racists, but that was ridiculous and went absolutely nowhere. Law enforcement was all around at our request and had seen the interaction as well as it was all recorded. Not an out of context short clip he tried passing off, but the whole thing. Nobody even got a phone call about it 'cause they already knew what happened. His claims were meritless. I know this is an effort to intimidate me and further harass me and try to push me into doxing myself. Oh, this is so much. Please hold. I've asked nicely for some time away to reflect. It's a pretty weak move to put out there more BS lies about me while I'm not even here to defend myself, putting me in the position to come on here to address this utter nonsense. After this coward said all that, she threatened me, as did two others on the panel, telling me I had more coming. So I needed to sit down. One liar said she's going to prove my phone call with Todd was spliced. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to lie about that or send a spliced phone call to law enforcement? Hell no. What I played was the whole recording, nothing edited. Suck it up, buttercups. You all were the ones who lied about that. But you don't want to own it. That's on you. I'll email it to any audio pro you get to agree to analyze it. It's real. To those doing this, I was sitting down. I had stepped away. But you gotta run your mouths and lie, so here I am. You are all immature middle school bullies. You all are the ones who need to grow up. Shut up and sit down yourselves. Going real life is dirty. You'll see why I'm trying to hold on and not say all the things in a second. I already got one for a TOS violation by one of these people yesterday. So letting her on your panel to say the same things that got her channel struck isn't smart. Just remember, there are consequences for your channel for TOS violations and legal consequences for slander, defamation, and harassment. Stop. Now, then she posted she posted a few little memes at the end. Apparently that was going to get the message across, but yeah, it's like there's a huge disconnect with what actually happened, what crime sleuthing says happened, and what our perception of it all is. You don't need to be an expert in linguistics or statement analysis to be able to go through that community post and pick up the leading language that was used there. There was so much. She literally describes the man as invading, like he's just appeared on a boat from somewhere. Again, the overtones are just way too much. She repeatedly says that he is screaming. And then she proceeds to disparage everyone else and then expect to be left alone. Make it make sense. Anybody. So that was her statement on the day that the video was out and about. Let me just grab Pooh's linky link. And we will share that as well. Pooh is an amazing content creator. If you are unfortunate enough not to know who Pooh is, you need to fix that immediately. Pooh will watch the most insane nonsense and then package it up into handy-dandy little bite-sized pieces while somehow making them funny or educational and stop you from banging your own head against a wall. All marvellous things. So just grabbing the wee link. Share screen. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Whoops. So this video is from Pooh's channel. And congratulations, Pooh, on hitting 700. We are so proud of you. Proud of Pooh. It's amazing. And before you know it, you'll be up to 1,000. So this video is called Crime Sleuthing Rallying the Troops. If you haven't watched it already, head over to Pooh's, give it a little watch, a little thumbs up, do all the things. Stop hitting what thing? Popcorn? I can't, I'm having to move things on the computer. I can't stop moving the icon. the little count marker thing. Mouse marker, that's the one. Otherwise, we'll all be lost. I haven't done this in nearly a year. Come on, give me a break. Right, so let's see a little bit more of the wonders of crime sleuthing. Woof!
And provide the things you dream of life. So my soul on you, a crown of and double morning, and a thousand of turkeys instead of the three of everything. Then we call the moment of everything. If you love God whom you have not seen, how can you hate yourself every day? And if you assume that life is not the love of God, but it is the love of your Father, who is Satan, and so the law of your true Father, who is free, and Jesus came from your sin today.
Well-organized protest. Makes me wonder about a lot the definitions of certain things like well organized. It seems like she might have a very different impression from mine, but that's just my opinion. See what I did there? You see what I did there? And you're right, Lenny. Do you see? Do you see a little squadron of police coming across to maneuver anyone away? Nope. He left of his own volition. It's wild. Wild. I'm sorry for you, crime sleuthing, that someone with years of experience doing protests single-handedly, where he has not had to put hands on people or throw water at people, where the man has literally used the power of his voice, his words, that you failed to match up to him that day. You failed. A whole group of you failed. That's embarrassing. Once you have to lay hands on somebody in an argument, you've lost. And it doesn't matter whether you were tickling his arm, whether you were stroking it, whether you were just resting your hand on it. Consent is important. But you're all out there protesting for the freedom to do what you want with your body. You also just take the liberty over other people and their bodies. It's amazing. Right, Eliza? Okie dokie. Muzzy King. Yeah, I mean, that's why that whole statement, that community post was wild to me. I was just like, I mean, were you at the same place? That is you. Why do you not remember what happened? And then it made me think, well, if she doesn't know what happened on that day, that's why her interpretation of things that happen on YouTube are so wildly different from everyone else's. It's why she is ensconced within the group of friends that she has. They're very similar thinkers on that level, and it will work for a little while until they betray each other. And then suddenly it'll be another revelation of, oh, I never knew. Nico, the large group was protesting against the mask mandates, and the gentleman with the bullhorn was there on a separate, entirely independent protest, and his is to do with reparations. He has been going there at that time every Wednesday for 2 years, and unfortunately happened to run into this group of people on that day. The group had applied for a permit from the city, which they had been granted. Apparently, they did not understand the terms and conditions of the permit and thought they were the sole proprietors of any space that they took a stance upon. But to this day, 4 years later, she is still trying to give a very different version of events. Thank God for the video. And just to join the dots, because people will know I am very anti-doxing. But as I said earlier, you have the responsibility, you everyone, to protect yourself. Keep your information private. When Crime Sleuthin came to YouTube, she already knew this footage was out there. She already knew that it had hit the news in multiple places. She knew that she had been on her state news channels with her name, her actual legal name. And she was aware that that footage was out there. There's only one person who has the responsibility to protect their information on that level, and that was Crime Sleuthin herself. She then came to YouTube, like I said, bounced from panel to panel, handing out her little contact information to this one, that one, somebody else, hooked up with Bullhorn Betty and Chronicles of Olivia and that group. And then on Facebook, there was a whole lot of tagging that was going on back and forth between that little group. If you didn't see Dates on the Streets, 3 nights ago now? Please go watch that. She shows a whole lot of receipts. Dates with receipts. And it proves that Bullhorn Betty was the one to share Crime Sleuthin's name. And how it was done. It was done publicly. So if you wish to issue a cease and desist, go to the source, Crime Sleuthin, go to Betty. She has a wee bit of experience now with civil litigation. She might be able to give you a run for your money. Who knows? I've certainly no dog in that fight. Good luck. I hope you have a great time. Now, this is just to show you as well. Again, she is aware that all of these results exist, and there is not one where her name is mentioned. We have Good Morning America, ABC News, the New York Post, Daily Mail Online, The Hill, Washington Post, Facebook, the Oklahoma Eagle, Business Insider Africa, Bet.com, CNN, the Oklahoman, Fox23.com, Tulsa World, United Church of Christ, the Oklahoman again, and then we're back to blackfacts.com. But that's just a small snippet of what happens when you search for the name of Dr. Reverend Robert Turner or Oklahoma anti-mask protest pastor. There's variations of ways to look for it. And she has known that this has been out there the whole time. So which one is it, Crime Sleuthin? This protection, and yet I'm assuming you didn't leave them behind. Or was the call of being YouTube famous just too much for you? I don't know. Have you got a number plate yet that says YouTube Sleuthing? Okie dokie. So, one more. Right? I mean, it's not hard to find. Just like many other creators, there's many creators that share little snippets of their life. But you have to still be very careful and guarded about your personal identifiable information. You know, your location, your name, all that kind of thing. When you put out bits here, there, and everywhere, you might think that other people aren't listening to it, but they are. And one thing I can assure you, crime sleuthing, is if you are in witness protection, you're at no risk from me. I'm not going to turn up at your door. I'm not going to turn up at your house or your town or anything. But if you wish to give us both a day out in California to challenge some copyrights, that would be fun. Or if you want to come to Northern Ireland, be happy to have you. Come on over. It's lovely here. Although, pack an umbrella. Don't want you getting wet. I wouldn't even have to throw water. It just falls from the sky. All right, so we have one more. So, let me see, the 14th, Crime Sleuthing did a very short live on her Crime Sleuthing After Dark channel. Very short live. You know the thing that she said she wasn't addressing anymore? Well, lo and behold, y'all, lo and behold, she addresses it again. It's amazing. Everyone else has to stop talking about it, but she can continue talking about it. So, because Crime Sleuthing had the audacity to try and threaten 6 Up with legal action yesterday, and give her the princely sum of 12 hours to edit or remove her live stream, despite the fact that the content was used under fair use. I took the liberty of making sure that I created a whole new work. Unlike Crime Sleuthing, I do not struggle with the use of the word edit. It's pretty simple. So, I created a new video for the content, the visuals, if you will. And I have altered the audio. I have recorded all of this so that if Crime Sleuthing is ridiculous enough to issue a copyright strike, that will be a fatal blow to your channel. Every single thing in this video is an entirely new work. And therefore, as the little banner says at the top of the screen, it fulfills the copyright disclaimer of under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purposes, such as criticism, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And today, dear friends, we are fulfilling each and every one of those. Well done, team. Well done. Now, let's hear what the amazing Crime Sleuthing After Dark had to say. We'll see if she has stopped talking about everything.
It is not cool for people to be doing what they're doing to me. I own. When I make a mistake, I don't even just own it. I apologize. Sincerely apologize when I know I have fucked up. Just had my, there we go.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on tight.
Channel was going in the background. Not sure if you heard it. So anyway.
At least you had one viewer.
Just because I have said, hey, I did A, B, C, I'm sorry. I've corrected it. I've retracted it. I've made it right. Best I can. That's all we can do, right? Just because I have done that doesn't mean that any of the other bullshit that I have been accused of doing is true. It's not.
Look at that wee face. Look at it. Look. She's not playing. She's very serious right now. It's very important that you listen to her. Very important. She is about to tell you where you have went wrong. Everything that you have heard with your own ears, everything that you have seen, it's wrong.
It's just not. If it was, believe you me, I would be like, okay, fucking white flag, here it is, here's the truth, blah, blah, blah. I'd fucking confess and be done with it. I haven't done any of this bullshit that I've been accused of doing. Let me go through the list really quick.
She got a list.
The multiple names and alts. They've added another one. What was it? If anybody who's going by the name Buttercup with a little white dog as their picture, please let everybody know. Hop up on a panel for a minute. Same with Stop the Grift. Hop up on a panel for just a second. Show everybody that it's not me.
That's all she's worried about. Just herself. If you could just jump up onto a panel and save Crime Sleuthing's ass. That's all she wants. Lord knows she's getting herself into enough trouble without anyone else's assistance. Thank you.
I do not have any other alt accounts. I have this, my backup channel, and then my main channel.
Well, then you do have an alt account by nature. A little bit like the edit, donate, pledge situation. Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've ever had.
That's it. No more.
certain people are sending around certain emails of mine from way back in 2022.
Way back into the past. I don't know if anybody in the chat can remember 2022. It was so long ago. I mean, I mean, there's just so much happens on YouTube on a daily basis that you can barely remember 2023, never mind 2022.
Real snake bitch move.
What's that you say? A real snake bitch move? The same lady who accused people of making crap slime ball snake moves in their community post. Ooh! Can somebody please get Crime Sleuth in a snake? A safe one, like not one that's going to cause her harm, of course. Maybe one of those little ones you have as a kid, you know, that you sort of shake and it wiggles along. That kind of job, so you know, just to be sure. She seems very concerned about the snakes. Ireland has no snakes. Tiny Dancer will tell you this. Ireland has no snakes. When you come over to Ireland to sue me for this copyright situation, I'll take you on tour. I'll show you there are no snakes.
But I don't think that they're sending all of them, so I'm going to be covering all of those emails on an upcoming live. I don't think it's cool to be sharing personal emails, but when you share some of them, I'm going to have to come back and share all of them. Only fair, right?
Do you hear that, everybody? Let's take a little flashback to the past, shall we? It was only thankfully a few weeks ago. It's not quite as taxing as 18 months ago, but I deliberately super chatted Purple Phoenix. Hey, Purple, hey! How you doing? So that she would be very publicly made aware of crime sleuthing and what was being talked about everywhere across this sector, both in true crime, crama, drama, you name it. And her answer was, well, I don't know anything about that. I then took the opportunity last week of making a community post to voice for the voiceless. Because again, I don't know that lady on a personal level. Asking her to please reach out to Purple Phoenix and explain to her. Because voices, I can't say voice for the voice, that sounds weird. Voices has had a prior working back when Purple Phoenix, the person that she went and told that to was none other than Voices on the panel. And do you know what, dear listener? That was an outright lie. Still waiting for receipts on that, and those will be fictional receipts because it has never happened. The person that I have critiqued has been Purple Phoenix, her behaviour, her actions. So, hey Purple, you want to know why you're connected to this? Because you brought this lady, you welcomed her into your safe space for the mother of a missing child. And just as she has said here, if she needs to, she will put out personal emails, calls, you name it. Wouldn't be the first. If you can't see the writing on the wall, I don't know what to tell you.
Again, I will be addressing the accusations about splicing phone calls and bullshit. What has been said to certain people, I have found out what was said to certain people deliberately to try to cause a rift.
Look at that little face. Ooh! Now you tell me that isn't adorable. Tell me. Look at her. And I was very kind. But yeah, she's found out about emails being sent. Imagine that. After the way you have conducted yourself in the past few weeks, never mind 18 months to 2 years crime sleuthing, I'm surprised it took that long for people to send emails. Very surprised.
Regarding the TBI flyer, you're despicable. You are absolutely despicable.
Crime sleuthing's not despicable for altering the official Amber Alert poster for a missing teenager, Sebastian Rogers, who is still missing from Tennessee. She's not despicable for that, but whoever is sending the emails is the despicable person. Okie dokie then. Alrighty.
And I'm going to show all that too. So, all this doxing, swatting, striking, accusations, you need to fucking stop it. Just stop it.
Aye. All this doxing, swatting, striking, accusations, you need to stop it. If you're addressing one person in particular, crime sleuthing, perhaps you should mention their name. Or we're going to take that as a wider expression to the entire community. If so, you need to hold standards and stop striking people because they have critique about your behavior on YouTube, about your content on YouTube. Let's see, what was it Crime Lines and Lies said? Do better. That was about you, crime sleuthing. Do better. If you didn't see the post crime sleuthing, you can go and look on her community post. You'll see it.
I'm the one that's been doxxed. I was doxxed way back in 2022, but I didn't say anything and it kind of fizzled away. The person who had.
She didn't say anything. Funny, because this is the third time since crime sleuthing has been on my radar when she had her name of Fueled by Coffee and True Crime that I have heard this doxing fandango from crime sleuthing. The third time. And each time she gets worse and worse, more bombastic with the threats. The last one, you were going to sue Nicolina. And again, whether you like Nicolina or not is irrelevant. Crime sleuthing, did you sue Nicolina? Have you challenged Bullhorn Betty to take down the posts from Facebook? I bet you haven't. That's where people are getting your information from, crime sleuthing. Your good friend, the one that you screwed over by putting out the recorded phone call about.
Had the post up. eventually took the post down, and nothing really happened from that I was aware of. It made no impact on me. However, now new people, voices, let's see, where's my list here?
Quick, get the list, get the list!
Voices, Avery, Tia, MJ, they've all bragged about getting this email with my doxed information.
Bragged? Or did they mention that they had been given an email? I know that there has been much talk about this email. It was mentioned on Earth's Live that Purple had an awful lot to say about it. It's funny she didn't listen to that. So, it's almost like the half-hearted commentary, but I don't know. Maybe the Glitter Ninjas could help Crime Sleuthing out with this huge problem. She seems to need some guidance.
You guys need to grow the hell up.
You hear her? You need to grow the hell up.
I have not false struck voices. Her behavior and her repercussions are her own, not mine. Not my fault.
Do you hear that? Her behavior and her repercussions are her own, not mine, not my fault. Just like your behavior, Crime Sleuthing, and your repercussions are your own. But unfortunately, I believe because of your behavior over the past 2 years in other crime cases, it will affect another family sooner rather than later.
If you've gotten in trouble by YouTube for violating community guidelines with repeated violations, that's not
Repeated violations. Apparently YouTube just cruise the YouTube streets now looking for stuff. It's not at all that Crime Sleuthing reported it. No.
on me. You need to stop with that kind of fuckery because I'm not going to tolerate it. If I see you going above and beyond, just, come on. We all know the difference between talking shit and full-on harassment. Vile harassment.
We all know the difference between talking shit and full-on harassment, vile harassment. Crime Sleuthing. Would that be similar as to you taking it way too personally that Granny's watching, who had spent hours bending over backwards to defend you? Because other people had a difference of opinion, you then threw that back in her face while you were on panel and said that you were going to go to Lycan's panel, knowing that there was an unresolved issue between Granny's watching and Lycan that had gone very personal. You happily went over there. You remember whenever you were claiming to be his new girlfriend on panel? Like, that wasn't at all cringe. Oof.
And doxing. If you cross lines, I'm gonna fucking report the video. Simple as that. It's up to YouTube what they're gonna do with that report. You can report whatever videos you want. If it's not a TOS violation, they're not gonna do anything. So obviously there was something there, right? I sent timestamps. with specific things that she said, and I will be covering them. I will be showing you guys because it wasn't cool. Now,
Don't be like all uncool. Just be cool. Okay? And this guy's wasn't cool. You got it? Good.
Voices has claimed that I called the police or made a report. I don't fucking know. That I sent the police to her address, which was her grandmother's address, and upset her elderly mother or something, grandmother. I didn't have jack shit to do with anything. That's a whole ass lie. But you know what? It's easy to prove. Easy. All you gotta do is FOIA. FOIA the report, FOIA the phone.
What's that you say? You want people to FOIA information on a call? Is that what you are telling us, Crime Sleuthing? Is that what you have just said? Where was that same energy when the jerks had to do that to prove they had not made any sort of claim about the children connected to Purple Phoenix? Purple has accused pretty much half of this sector at this point of being responsible for that call, and yet somehow thinks that she can judge the jerks for requesting a FOIA to see if a call to the police was made. Guess what, everybody? There was no call to the police made. It's interesting though, right? So I'm glad that Crime Sleuthing supports that.
Phone call FOIA the dispatch. It will tell you who did it. Because if you remember correctly, go back on my channel on a live and you'll see I cleared that shit up, didn't I? When Truth and Transparency accused Alex Eric.
This is where it starts to get all a bit weird. She starts to take credit for something else. Now, look, I'm sure Alex Erickson will be able to handle that part herself, but it's important what she's about to say as well. She did that on behalf of other people. Again, this very same thing that the jerks have been critiqued for in many places in order to prove that there was no call made to the police. And yet here, Crime Sleuthing is recommending the same course of action. I'm glad that Purple supports you, Crime Sleuthing. I'm glad.
FOIA the report, FOIA the phone call, FOIA the dispatch.
FOIA
It
everything.
will tell you who did it. Because if you remember correctly, go back on my channel on a live and you'll see I cleared that shit up, didn't I? When Truth and Transparency accused Alex Erickson of calling the police. Remember the FOIA cleared that shit up? Easy to do. Use your fucking head and don't accuse somebody unless you got proof.
Now to join the dots again for people, because it has gone from one platform to a different platform to a different platform, this whole sideshow. Queen Bee had mentioned this situation briefly on her channel. Voices had appeared one day on the panel. Crime Sleuthing was in the chat. Crime Sleuthing would not come up on the panel. She said she was busy with something, I believe. Later that night, there were several other unfortunate incidents. So when Queen Bee went live on Rumble, there was a lot being said over there. It's almost like crime sleuthing only wants to go after certain people. If you think you have the fortitude to take on Queen Bee, crime sleuthing, good luck to you. Have a great time. You're about to make sure that you have spent every penny that's coming to you in your inheritance.
FOIA that shit and it's got my name on it, bring it on. Because I know it doesn't. I haven't made any phone calls, any reports about anybody yet. I already told you I would be handling the direct threats to come off platform and come at me. I have every right to document that. I am going to.
Only crime sleuthing has the right. Nobody else has the right to document that, because if you document what is said about you, crime sleuthing is going to claim that footage and remove your right to document what is being said about you. So just so that we're clear here, again, hence the reason for this very artistic little video.
To be going over the history where pinpointed where all of the actual bullshit began coming forward. We're going to be talking about a lot in some upcoming lives, but what I wanted to.
In some upcoming lives. This is going to turn into a full series. We're going to have seasons of this. God bless us all. I know the way, look, I have said before many times, YouTube ages you in dog years. Everyone, all of us. It just does. Especially me. I have a birthday every day. But crime sleuthing, if you want to put your time and energy into covering all of this for several months, that would be splendid. Maybe then you'll leave the families attached to horrific crimes alone. Maybe. Maybe you can stop making their lives miserable. Stop promising them things they will never get.
To discuss really quick is I don't think people are smart enough to understand what doxing is, and they think that
You're not smart enough. Crime sleuthing has issued a decree. She is now the measure for the education level and basic reasoning of every person on YouTube. Tell us all about it, crime sleuthing.
just because they've been doxed once, that's all you can really be doxed. You can only be doxed once it spreads around.
And as you can see, the subtitling picks up docked instead of docs. I haven't changed that because I had to make this as quickly as I could.
Oh well, you've already been doxed. No bullshit. Bullshit. I call absolute bullshit on that.
There we go, everybody. We can pack up and go home. Crime sleuthing has called bullshit on that. We are finished here. Good night, everyone. Good night. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you.
Somebody sent me an email and showed me that somebody that I really thought was above this kind of bullshit spread the doxing on her own channel. I'm really upset by it because in this video I saw, they pull up this video of me that shows, and they found it by doxing me. I don't have my last name on YouTube. I don't.
That's a big statement to make there, crime sleuthing. Are you sure? Are you very sure? There's no way that anyone would have receipts to disprove that, is there? Just checking. If you could include that in episode 1 of your mini-series, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
I have my specific location on YouTube, but they found an old video of me, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, that shows my full name and where I live. And they not only played it, but this bitch who never fucking cams up is sitting there making fun of how I look in the video. Wow. People who refuse to cam up.
Now, this is why I mentioned the claim for witness protection again. Can you imagine the set of circumstances that would need to arise for somebody who claims to be in witness protection putting themselves as the face and voice of a YouTube channel? Anyone? Can you imagine how that would occur? I think that would be a waste of time and effort. I've never been in witness protection on that level, so I couldn't comment that far, but maybe Crime Sleuthing will be able to fill us in on why it doesn't matter that she would put out her identity on Facebook if she's in witness protection. You remember all of the live streams that were done, Crime Sleuthing, about how distressed you were going to be because of Nicolina's actions, despite what you had done to Nicolina to cause those things to happen. History repeating itself, I think.
Bashing other people's looks is laughable. And besides,
Now, Crime Sleuthing is also very keen on critiquing other people's looks. Very keen. Making all sorts of disparaging comments, and yet she would like everyone else not to comment on her. Please, thank you. We appreciate your cooperation. Yes, Don K, she did.
I have disclosed a little bit about my health, but
Okay, so here we go with the slashy moto of it all. There are many people with complex and individual health needs on YouTube. It's very common. If you feel that your health is being impacted either psychologically, physically, even spiritually, it's time to take some time away. But also it's time to consider your behavior, because you have an input here too, Crime Sleuthing. You haven't received this level of pushback because you were chit-chatting on the phone to somebody. You haven't received this level of pushback because you were making friends. You've received this level of pushback because you have done all of the things you were calling out in this video to other people.
that was a really bad year for me.
I think that was her annus horribilis. Shout out to Queen Elizabeth II. Rest in peace.
Bad year for me. Not only were we in a pandemic and all going through hell with, lockdowns, all that stuff that was going on.
Mask protests.
I lost family members. I had just lost my mom, and that triggered, as you know, anybody with autoimmune disorders can tell you, a huge shift of stress in your life can just send you over the edge. And
Over the edge. Over the edge of what? Over the edge of what exactly? If you're suggesting that you had a flare, crime sleuthing, and yet here you are again repeating the same behaviors, and you know what's ahead of you. This will repeat the same results.
Cause onset. And that's what had happened to me. I was going through a lot physically, but I was still out there. I was still living.
Can I get a 55 in the chat if crime sleuthing has come to you and asked you about your health, your mental well-being, how you're doing that day? If she has checked up upon you to see if it would be okay to chat shit about you, if you could put a 55 in the chat if that has happened, or if you could put a 1 in the chat if that has not happened to you, I would really appreciate it. Look at me being little baby Ernie Shell. Oof!
Living, still working full time and everything. And I don't understand how somebody can sit there who won't even cam up, and I know why. They won't cam up, but they're gonna sit there and make fun of me and how I looked 2.5 years ago.
Crime sleuthing. Is that the first thing that anyone said about you at all? Or did they critique your behaviour and your actions before they would even get to your looks? Is that what happened? I know this is a wee surprise to you, crime sleuthing, but you don't have to cam up. You don't have to put your picture out here. You don't have to release your private information. You don't have to put everything out here, including your health records. Lord knows there's a little purple poultry. I even know the result of her pap smear. That's too much. I don't want to know that. That's way too much oversharing. Stop that.
So I don't think you guys understand, I do give a shit what people think of me. And I think that they take advantage of that. And it's cruel. For the few actual honest fucking mistakes that I've made and I've owned up to and apologized for, this is cruel and unusual bullshit punishment, and you need to fucking stop.
You need to stop watching movies, crime sleuthing, because these little one-liners are not helping your cause. Cruel and unusual bullshit punishment, and you need to fucking stop. What? You must have had a very easygoing life. Very easygoing if you think that somebody critiquing your looks on YouTube is the definition of cruel and unusual bullshit punishment. I'm happy for you. I hope it remains that way, that you never experience anything worse. But maybe that's why you have a lack of perspective.
Seriously. So they paused the video where I'm standing at just the right angle, because these bitches are cruel, man. They will.
Did you expect a glamour shot, crime sleuthing? Is it not just possible that somebody hit pause? But the fact that you're bringing it up, you're displaying your one weakness to people. And if I had wanted to play up on that, I could have done so and never have. Now, will I joke about your bangs? Yes. I had bangs for many years. We call it a fringe over here. But that's not an intrinsic quality. If you are submitting claims of a TOS violation because somebody mentions your bangs. This isn't the place for you.
Oh, and I'm going to show you some too. I'm going to show them exactly what it's like, and you're going to get to see some real photos, y'all. So I'm sick of this shit. This is some low-level fuckery.
Well, I mean, there might be edited photos. She doesn't do well with the definition of editing, despite the fact that one of her claims to fame was assisting on editing a video to change the light levels on the video to make it more clearly visible in the Kylie Rodney case. But she still doesn't understand editing. She thinks cutting pieces out of phone calls, chopping things up, etc., etc., or even creating something. Apparently that's not editing. I think there's a whole industry of people that will have a problem with that. So I really look forward to these photos. I hope they don't have one of those huge long necks or like the little bendy walls. Don't do that.
So when you have MS, you have a lot of problems with your lymph nodes. And I didn't know why that was happening to me at the time, but I was already going through testing to find out what was wrong. I just knew that I was sick, you know?
There's so much I could say about this part, but no doubt it will be taken very personally. The best way I can ameliorate the damage that she's about to do to some of this information is if you or someone you love has MS or any other autoimmune issue or any chronic health issue, go and see a real life doctor, a real life nurse, real life allied health professionals who will assist you. Please do not take advice from these people who will now somehow claim that weight gain was to do with their lymph nodes, because that's not how that works.
When you're going through things like that, you have swollen lymph nodes, you have a lot of weight fluctuations going up and down. During that time, I just started on some meds and some infusions and stuff, and
My dog stepped on a bee.
my body was changing up and down constantly during this time. Not to mention, you know, I'm a mother and grandmother. I've never claimed to be a skinny mini, but are you fucking kidding me?
Now, again, if you go over to Crime Sleuthen's own community posts or her alt backup second account of Crime Sleuthen After Dark, you will see the many descriptive terms she uses for other people, or anytime she's just on panel. She is just a ray of sunshine, light, happiness, and joy.
You can't say, well, I'm a big girl, but, you know, they're making fun of how I look. When you know that I have MS, you know this. So, great job bashing somebody when you don't know what they were going through at that time. So you end up bashing somebody's medical condition that they have no control over.
Bashing, you say? Paging Soup, where's Soup? It's too much. It's way too much. Listen, Crime Sleuthen. Your friend Purple Phoenix claims that no matter what your mental health, physical health condition is, if you're well enough on YouTube to be on YouTube, you're well enough to take it. Nobody deserves any special treatment, is what she has repeatedly stated. So maybe between you and your wee friend, you could resolve that issue and let us know what you've decided. Again, the writing's on the wall there, and apparently some are just so busy sticking their wee heads in the sand they can't see it.
This being especially shitty since it's a fatal disease, and yeah, they all knew about my diagnosis. Again,
And yeah, they all knew about my diagnosis. What? To be fair to Crime Sleuth, and she has said that on her channel, she has said it on another panel, but not everybody on YouTube attends that viewing so that they can get the latest from Crime Sleuthing. Your assumptions are massive here. You are the one who's in control of how you take care of your health needs, Crime Sleuthing. Do not give that control away to other people. And again, just curious, whenever you were taking such joy in going at 6 Up and Eve, were you concerned about their health issues? Were you? Maybe you could address that on the second episode of your mini-series.
low-level fuckery. This does hurt me, but I know I have real support and I have real friends though. And although I'm not perfect, at least I am not a shithead or a snake. So I am totally good with not being liked by shitheads and snakes.
Shitheads and snakes. I nearly used that as the title for tonight's live, and then I was like, it seems a little bit aggressive. People will not understand why I'm going to say that. There's only one person that's obsessed with shitheads and snakes, and that's you, Crime Sleuthing. It seems like every person that you claim as a friend or a contact, they inevitably turn into a shithead or a snake. The common denominator in that situation is you, Crime Sleuthing. I don't know whether you've picked up some of the jerks' hoodoo that they use to curse Ziggy's vulva, but something's not right here.
So I want to address somebody for just a moment since I think it's necessary. I really think it's necessary. She can respond if she wants to. But girl, you really, I'm really surprised, Queen. Really surprised. I stood up for you, and I shut that shit down when somebody doxed you on one channel and then came over to another panel and tried to start doing it again. I shut that bitch down. She was.
Oh, like whenever you went to another panel, such as lichens, for example, to create shit over there. Inserting your little bangs into places where they should not be. It's hilarious that you thought you were going to tell Queen Bee all about herself after you have repeatedly done her dirty. Repeatedly. Her whole chat knows what happens when you turn up.
A friend of mine, and I cussed her one and up and down the other and said, "Don't you dare."
She cussed her up and down the other and said, "Don't you dare! You shall not pass."
I walked away from a friendship for somebody that didn't even give a fuck about me, but I did what was right.
Well, I don't know what to tell you then. don't know what to tell you. And I think that is part of your problem, crime sleuthing. You want to be respected and you want to make friendships on here. I believe that that is true. But going about it this way is entirely the wrong way. You're trying to intimidate people into silence. You're trying to force people into not speaking about you. That does not work. It doesn't. Do you remember the chant during your protest there of somebody shouting freedom? We all have individual freedom. I'm not American, but I still have rights. And guess what? I don't need to throw water on people or lay hands on them either.
Period. I don't care who you are. If I'm standing there, if I'm on a panel or in a chat and I see somebody starting to get doxxed, I'm going to say something because I'm not a shithead.
Again with the shithead.
But you think it's okay to share videos that dox me. And I don't care.
Now, let's be very clear. The video that doxes her, that she claims, is a piece of news footage that crime sleuthing already knew existed. I think we've revisited this argument so many times now. When people appear on news channels with their real name and then somehow expect privacy, it's too late. The horse is already bolted. You're the one that has known that, crime sleuthing. You knew that. You took no steps to protect yourself. None. And if this is impacting your health, your safety, your well-being in any way, it's time for you to reevaluate why you are here. If this is truly worth it. Because you do not sound happy. You don't.
I don't give a fuck if you say, oh, I didn't share the whole video. I stopped it before it showed your name and location. One moment, please. I'm getting a little too upset. One moment.
Now, I don't, as Mr. Eve is quite rightly pointing out in the chat, and I've waited till this moment of the video, she is getting all upset because her name on a piece of news footage was shown by another channel, and yet only mere weeks ago, crime sleuthing almost broke her own neck tripping over her feet to get up onto AB's panel in order to congratulate and just yuck it up about Mr. Eve being doxxed. You thought it was wonderful. You were having a great time. Maybe on part 3 of your little mini-series, you could get that footage from AB, if you don't have it already, and play it in its entirety. Show the world what you said and did at that moment, crime sleuthing, before you start to cry about somebody putting out news footage about you. You give no care to the family of other children who could be in danger, but you want that for yourself. No care at all.
I have a lot of problems with my throat esophagus, which I've talked about. So I need.
As a qualified nurse of 24 years, the throat esophagus is not a thing. Not quite sure what she's trying to get at here or why this is important at this moment when she's apparently totes emosh, but again, you're oversharing. What is it that Purple says? You don't deserve any special treatment, Crime Sleuthin. I'm sorry about your throat esophagus. I'm sorry. Was your throat esophagus bothering you when you were over at Lycans? Was it bothering you when you're on AB's panel?
Need to bring it down. I stopped it. I did what was right. Okay, and you knew about this. You knew about this. I have always respected your privacy and your dignity. So to make fun of me and say, oh, she's using this filtered selfie, so fucking what? We all.
She has always respected Queen Bee's privacy and dignity. Would that be during the time at which you were calling Queen Bee a scammer? Would that be then, Crime Sleuthin? That doesn't sound too dignified to me. Or maybe you think that's a lofty goal to attain. I'm unsure. Maybe you could clear it up. I think we're going to need a second series.
Do. So do you. So do you. So what? Look at Voice's photo. That ain't her. Maybe 20 years ago. So what if I have a smooth? That's all I have on my fucking photo is a smooth.
It was just a smooth, guys. Relax. It was just a smooth. Just definitely not edited. It was just a smooth. Just a smooth. I really wanted to play some Carlos Santana, but it would have required too much after editing for my lazy self.
My weight goes up and down because of my illness. It is normal. I'm not sitting around on my ass eating McDonald's, getting fat. My weight goes up and down drastically.
It's her lymph nodes. She told us this. It was her lymph nodes, or possibly the throat esophagus. I think we're back to the whole Cheez-Its Pepsi argument. There's a basic misunderstanding of some dietary education going on here.
Depending on my meds, is normal. Some days I have a hard time thinking. I have a hard time walking. I have a hard time sleeping. You bitches aren't fucking helping with any of that. Because you're
Right, let's address this part. Because when, again, other people have mentioned any of those things, they have not been granted any grace by your newfound friends. So, considering that you share the same mods, I can only assume that they must have came to you and said, well, no, that's not how we roll over here. We don't do that. We're tough as anything over here. No? They didn't tell you that? No. I am sorry that you are having health challenges, Crime Sleuthin. I am. But that does not excuse your behaviour. It doesn't give you the right to take out your frustrations on life on other people who are strangers to you. I understand what it's like for ill health to take away your ability to self-govern, and that maybe you're reaching for some new sense of control. But you're not going to be able to control millions of people, billions on YouTube. That's not going to work. You need to be able to learn how to control yourself first. And as we saw from that video from 4 years ago, you had a lack of control then. As we have seen from your recent panel hopping sessions, you still have a lack of control when it suits. You ooze disrespect.
Cruel. You're absolutely cruel. I can't get a day's peace without some new bullshit accusation. You need to, all of you, just shut up. Because I haven't done all this bullshit that you've claimed, and you just keep spreading around, and you made the TBI flyer something that it fucking wasn't, and you know it. You know it, but you were trying to drive a wedge, weren't you? I'm going to call that.
Now, I think her wee face, yet again, just matches perfectly to this current moment. Crime sleuthing, did you seriously think you were going to alter the Amber Alert poster for one missing child while you're involved in a group of another people who support the family of another missing child, and that information was not going to be shared? Did you think that those two things were possible? You have made it your season's work, your winter spring season, to chase Eve round YouTube, vilifying her and making statements about things that haven't actually happened, but somehow think you deserve grace for when you have definitively done something that is incorrect, improper, and just plain wrong. You don't need a professional qualification to teach you that that would be wrong. Imagine the reaction if Eve had altered an official poster from any service known to mankind on a missing child. Imagine.
That out too. You wait. That was shitty. I did not false strike voices again. She is a piece of shit liar. But you choose to stand with her, and nobody gets that. Nobody really understands that, except for other piece of shit liars like her. And most people do despise her. But at least I do cam up sometimes, by the way, before I forget to say that. At least I do cam up. When I'm having a good day and I'm feeling okay, y'all don't understand.
Okay, so we're about to go in with a grand sweeping statement again of y'all. I don't know who y'all actually covers, whether it's just everyone on the planet, whether it's her viewers, whether it's the people that don't like her. She was unclear. Again, articulation is not her best quality. But we're about to hear more of the health issues. This is not wise crime sleuthing. If empathy and sympathy is what you seek, you need to offer the same virtue to other people, which you clearly don't. Very clearly. I have sympathy for the people that have stuck with me for this long because I'm getting a headache listening to this chick. I'm really am.
Understand how exhausting it is sometimes for me to just try and straighten my hair. I do my best to take good care of myself every day.
Don't we all?
Sometimes it's all I can do to get a shower and blow dry my hair.
Right? Like the rest of the human race. Guess what, Crime Sleuthing? There are people who cannot do that for themselves at all. They're still not treating people the way that you do. Therefore, using spoon theory, and I'm going to guess you may have heard of it. If you have not, I will send you every appropriate link I can possibly find. If you have run out of spoons to be able to come onto YouTube, just don't do it. Don't.
I don't have it left in me to do all the makeup and, all that stuff. I don't have to. You don't have to. I stay home. I'm not worried about it. But there are plenty of good days where I feel great and I'll cam up. At least I cam up sometimes. You want to cam up with me, Queen?
Okay, so I'm assuming from what Crime Sleuthing has just said here that she sees this now as like a competition. If you look at Crime Sleuthing's community posts, you'll see her refer to competition a fair bit, but she seems to think that this is a thing now. I agree with Queen on her right to privacy. As you well know, Crime Sleuthing, just as happened to you years ago, other people have put out Queen Bee's identity. She still chooses to protect herself and her family. It is a wise decision. I'm sorry that upsets you, that you cannot enter the competition. I don't know what glamour shots you think you were going to compare and contrast, whether there was going to be a swimsuit routine. I have no idea. Was there going to be fancy dress? Look, it's just not the best idea. You're not in competition with anyone else. The only person you should really be in competition with is yourself.
You want to cam up with me? I'm down.
But what if it's a bad day? What if the throat esophagus is acting up? I have so many questions.
Again, it is easy to fucking prove that I didn't call anybody, any law enforcement, make any reports. No, nothing. I fucking nothing to do with whatever Voices is claiming happened.
Now we're back to Voices.
Because you guys just want to believe what she says with zero receipts.
That's why we spent an inordinate amount of time at the start of this live stream watching the receipts. To literally see a snapshot, a few minutes of your life. You showed your real self there, Crime Sleuthing. If you have changed, then why is it so easy for you to behave in the way that you're doing right now? You do not conduct yourself with dignity, grace, intelligence, honor, self-respect. That's why you're happy playing with pigeons.
But if I say it's daytime, I have to show you out the fucking window. You guys need to get a grip on what you actually believe without seeing any receipts. And you need to demand fucking receipts from her on this, because that was some bullshit. all you need to do. You guys know where she lives. I fucking don't. I don't.
Again, I don't know who you think was coming to listen to your live stream, Crime Sleuthing. Do you think the Hive rushed over to your channel, to your backup channel at that, your alt, your second channel, the one that you possibly do not have but definitely do have? I mean, if you wanted people to see it, you would put it on your main channel. You might even tag the person so that they would know you're addressing them. You know, when you said you claimed to say it with your whole chest. She made that post yesterday about saying it with her whole chest. You see what she did there? You see what she did? Oh dear.
I know nothing about where the fuck she lives. I don't know her real name. I know nothing about her, and I don't want to fucking know anything about her. But y'all do. You people who know her, especially you.
You people who know her. Again, you're accusing other people of trying to be deliberately divisive while you are actively being deliberately divisive. Interesting.
You, Queen, you fucking know all her information. I'll send you the link where you can FOIA all the fucking information on whatever report she claims happened. Betcha.
Now, the reason that Voices believed that Crime Sleuthing had called the police on her because the police attended the home of Voice's grandmother the day after Crime Sleuthing had been given Voice's Counter-Strike information from YouTube. That's why she believed that. Can she prove it was you? No, she has said this now repeatedly. I agree, she was definitely in error stating that you did that because she could not prove it. She believes it was you or someone connected to you, though. And just like your little friend Purple, you're doing exactly the same thing. And I can guarantee you, if Voices submitted a FOIA to see who made that call, you will be screeching to high heaven again. Despite having laid down the challenge for her to do so. It's insane. Stop that.
She's lying to your ass. Betcha. I challenge you. Challenge you to prove that I did anything to fucking Voices with this bullshit claim that she's making. Nah. I don't go real life. I don't dox people. That's a you thing, not me. You can't.
You don't go real life. You don't dox people. Huh. Again, I hope there's no receipts to prove that. There's only so much I can fit in on one day, everyone.
Can't play a video that you know doxes somebody and then say, oh, well, you know, I'm going to stop it at the 4-minute mark because at 4 minutes and 10 seconds, it's going to show her picture and her photo. I mean, her full name and where she lives. So we're going to.
Her picture and her photo and her full name and where she lives. Again, who knew about that information being out there, Crime Sleuthing? That would be you. What have you done about that? Nothing. You came to YouTube, you put yourself on camera, you shared your name everywhere. And now wonder why everybody has that information. It's craziness. Craziness.
Stop it at 4 minutes. And by the way, here's the title, here's the channel, and here's the link to the video. You're directing people to fucking doxing information.
Would that be the channel that you stated you knew Voices had made that channel? Provide the pertinent information on that, crime sleuthing. Provide it. Or just like Voices, did you make an unfortunate claim with nothing to back it up, just a supposition? Is that what you did? This is so stupid.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
I would never do that to you. Ever. Do that to you or anybody.
Never.
And I don't fucking deserve for it to be done to me. I don't. It is not okay. And again, yes. You can be doxxed more than once. I am being doxxed repeatedly. Somebody made
This video is partly why we're called Respirations, because the emphatic overacting and audible breathing in this is too much. I have seen Hallmark movies with less melodrama than this, and that is saying something.
an entire fucking channel just to dox me, y'all. Just to put up a video to dox me.
There you go. She just stated that Voices put up an entire channel just to dox her. Show the proof then, crime sleuthing. Show the proof that you have. You know the way you were ridiculing Voices a couple of minutes ago, saying that she spoke so badly because she didn't have proof? Where is your proof? Where is your proof? You don't have any.
So it's fucking ridiculous.
It is fucking ridiculous. I agree.
Like I stupidly did for you, more than one person. You're supposed to step in and stop it and not spread doxing around. But you don't give a fuck about sharing the video that doxes me? Really?
Are you impinging on Queen Bee's freedom? Is that what you're doing there, crime sleuthing? I am just curious. I am asking on the behalf of another American. Are you stating what Queen Bee can do with her freedom? While you were out there chanting for yours? Oof!
The only way that old video was found was by these bitches finding my full name and location, which I have never disclosed my.
Wrong. You've been on multiple panels where you have said the state, the town. You then connected with Bullhorn Betty, who had a full dialogue with you in public. Your name has been out there. If people had wanted to just go in with that level of aggression, we could have done that months ago. And it's one of the problems with giving people grace and seeing if this time will possibly be different. Breaking news, everybody. This time will definitely not be different. This time will be the same as every other time beforehand. You have disclosed your state, the city. It's craziness. You've done the most out here. And then wonder why people pay attention and hear it. Believe it or not, crime sleuthing, not everybody's going to like you.
Myself on YouTube. Again, that old 2022 post is fucking irrelevant. It was 2022. It's gone. It's been gone for a long time. This is a brand new dox that Voices herself declared she was going to do and then did do. I have that on fucking video. I have clips of her going around.
So anything that happens in the past is now irrelevant. Eve, you are now granted full dispensation for anything done in the past. That is irrelevant. Unfortunately, I think that also means that crime sleuthing might be your new best friend. That sounds a bit problematic, but can't have everything.
Around and showing this email around with people bragging about, oh, look what I found, look what I found. You didn't find it, bitch. You fucking made that channel, didn't you? Kind of funny. It's a brand new channel dedicated to doxing crime sleuthing.
Imagine. You do realize that has been happening the entirety of YouTube, crime sleuthing. If somebody has an axe to grind, it will happen. So unless you can prove that it was actually Voice for the Voiceless, aka Voices, then you are also making baseless claims that you cannot prove. Just because you believe it to be so, doesn't mean you should state it as a fact. At least that's what you said to Voices a few minutes ago, right? Say it with your whole chest.
Interesting. And you're the one who conveniently finds it, huh? You Voices, you just run from panel to panel. Look what I found, look what I found, look what I found. Why don't you ask Voices who the channel owner really is? Again, I have clips of her going panel to panel to panel, forwarding that email around. She was the first one to announce it on every fucking panel she could hop her ass on. And I'm gonna find out who that is. Just like you don't appreciate the iTow account and anonymous to you, hater, hiding just to spread hate about you. I don't appreciate this. And at least iTow isn't doxing anybody.
Okay, so did you catch the double speak in that little statement? She is basically trying to recruit Queen Bee to help her force Voices to prove something for crime sleuthing that she cannot prove on her own, and then walks back that claim of protecting Queen Bee's dignity by bringing up the iTow channel in their own voices, in their own words, sorry. Too many voices today, in their own words. It's amazing. Yet you want to sit out here and make posts about middle school bullies. That is 4 grades ahead of where you are right now, crime sleuthing. This doesn't even hit middle school.
Voices and Eve, fucking Avery, Tia, and others. I've got the clips. They think it's hilarious having
Shout out to Eve. Hey.
my personal private information. They think it's hilarious. Eve and Avery found, by doxing me, my private father's probate online.
Again, the wording here is kind of amazing. Eve and Avery found by doxing me my private father's probate online. Can anybody spot the problem with the statement? As Eve says, that's a negative ghostwriter. Yeah. Yeah, private but online. Yeah. This is not right. Again, you want to run around your channel, purples, anywhere else that'll have you liking in order to peddle this little tale. And some will believe it. And then you will do to them what you have done to other people previously. And they will regret giving you the time of day.
And had the nerve to get on panels and speak about my deceased father and lie about him and me.
Look at the face. Look at it. It says all the things. Oof!
I watched Voices pass that fucking doxing email over to Tia during a live, and Tia laughing when she got it. I clipped that. It's wrong. I would never do this to any of you scummy snakes, ever.
Funny you should mention that, Crime Sleuthing. It's almost like you have done just that. Again, maybe get that live stream from AB and show it to everyone. Show everybody what you were happily part of. Do it. You were already there once. The only reason AB took it down is that he doesn't get a strike. Can't afford any more, right?
I wouldn't do it. 'Cause I'm better than you. Way better than you. You know what? Karma's real, though. Karma's real. And I hope that Karma is wearing sharp ass stilettos when she kicks your ass. Because it's coming.
Picture that mental image. Like, I don't think she understands how ass kicking works, or stilettos, or karma. Really anything, to be honest, at this point, really.
So y'all have a good night. Again, I turned off
Oh,
chat
thanks.
deliberately because I wanted to focus on what I wanted to say. I'm not trying to do this for any other reason, just to let y'all know this was not okay. I have not done any of this bullshit, and I don't deserve this, and I want y'all to stop. Please.
Is this a verbal cease and desist before the legal cease and desist? Just asking. Certainly the terminology leaves a lot to be desired. It's almost like you may have copy pasted that letter that you sent to 6 Up. Possibly. I'm sure you've done it to others as well, but yeah, cease and desist, everybody. Pack up, go home.
Be kind. Goodbye.
Or as she said on Dietz' panel, be kind, even to me. Even to me. Beautiful. Yep, she doesn't deserve this. You're all big meanies, doing all the meaniness. And poor old Crime Sleuthing has had nothing to do with anything. Not a thing. Nope. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't attacked anyone. She hasn't put lies out about anyone. She hasn't been part of doxing anyone. She hasn't been part of attacking someone's family. She hasn't done any of that. Nope. Nope. Cease and desist. Oh, it's craziness. And on that happy note, you'll be glad to hear, everybody, we are at the logical conclusion to today's live stream. Thank you for hanging with me on my first day back. I appreciate it. Thank you for putting up with all of the awkwardness, with the nerves, with the stress head, all of it. I appreciate you all. Please avoid any future cease and desists on the YouTube streets. Please also, if you're being chased by a hairpiece, tap that like button as if your life depends on it, please. If you have not been to Pooh's channel, head over there, watch all of Pooh's wonderful content, because Pooh watches this nonsense so you don't have to. And then we'll make you laugh in the face of pure insanity. And I'm about to croak myself because I need a glass of water, not watered down soda, actual water. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you. And yeah, if you're lucky, it'll be another 10 months before you see me again. Amanda, I'm going. Somebody time Amanda out for like 4 seconds. Oh dear. Love rips. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. God bless. And I'll see you soon.
One of these days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. There's a serpent in these still waters, lying deep down. To that king I will bow, at least for now. One of these days are coming, I'm gonna take that boy's crown. 'Cause I am a little wicked, I am, yes I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. I'll be high up in that tower, he'll be down there getting stoned. Beware the patient woman, 'cause this much I know. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on the throne. 'Cause I am a little wicked, I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. I am a little wicked. I am, yes I am. Hands raised, just like it said. I am a little wicked. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne.